Good morning, everybody. We are back. We are here to talk about a little Top Chef this morning. So we will jump right into it and take a look at what we had happening last week. All right. So the episode is entitled Chaos Cuisine. Um, a little bit on the nose. So let's kind of talk about right from the get go. I don't think that this was a very good kind of format in terms of the chaos cuisine because even Kristen didn't understand what they needed to do. She expressed this several times throughout the actual episode. She also on their kind of post show YouTube show uh, also expressed that she didn't really kind of grasp it there either. So if your host doesn't understand what they are supposed to do, it makes it really hard for the contestants to know what they're supposed to do. And on top of that, you have Maddie Matheson, who is trying to explain it to them as well. And he's, kind of all over the place to start with, and he's kind of hard to understand to begin with. So you've got kind of these things kind of going on. I'm surprised that they got anything out of this kind of what they were looking for. It really kind of seems kind of nebulous as to what they really wanted. And even Michelle, and during when they came to the kind of the judging table portion of it, they said, did anybody, was this hard for anybody? And she was like, yeah. She's like, this was so broad and so wide open that I really didn't have any idea kind of what to do with this. And it showed because she ended up being in the bottom, which we'll get to. But it was really kind of weird. The whole concept was just kind of shaky. We're in the dog days of what I would call the dog days of Top Chef now, which is funny because next week's is going to be a hot dogs challenge. But I don't really. This is kind of where they're just kind of throwing weird crap at you. And I don't know if this was not one of their best kind of thought out challenges, and I would be surprised if we saw this again in there. So let's start with the quick fire challenge. So they bring everybody in. Also weird. They bring back the two folks who are coming back from Last Chance Kitchen in Karima um, and Sue, which they bring them back into the hotel first, which is weird. Normally, when they do these reveals, they'll bring them back into the kitchen. So for them to come in through, show them kind of in the hotel, and they're kind of introducing Sue, letting Karima kind of introduce Sue, is a little weird. That should have definitely gone to Tom or Kristen. In terms of those things, that should have been their job to introduce them rather than him going, "Hi, here I am. I'm the 16th contestant." Uh, Definitely, this whole episode was a mess. Um, the Chaos Kitchen, like I said, was a little bit on the nose, but I don't think, and simply because of that, this was just a messy episode, and I don't think that it was um, done real well. So, here's the quick fire challenge. Everybody's there. They meet everybody. They have 45 minutes to produce dairy forward dessert. The guest judge was Christina Tosi. You will, if you watch Hell's Kitchen, or not Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, one of the Gordon Ramsay shows that I don't watch. She's generally a judge on there. She is famous, in case you've never heard of her. She is famous for taking cereal milk and turning it into ice cream. So that's her big thing. Was, how your cereal milk, the milk after you eat your cereal, tends to be a little more sugary. She takes that and turns that into ice cream. That's her kind of her big claim to fame. So that is kind of what that. So that's where she gets to be judged because Wisconsin's a heavy dairy state. Yada yada yada. So that's basically what they were asked to do. The other big piece of information of the episode is because Tom chose to send two chefs back into the competition, at any point they can now eliminate two chefs. They can have a double elimination if they deem that worthy. So they asked him to make this ice cream dessert type thing. They all go through to make it. Michelle ends up being the winner of that in there. Uh, And then they are moved on to the elimination challenge. Michelle wins $7,500 for that. Elimination challenge, like I said, is this chaos cooking thing. They're supposed to meld stuff together. It's supposed to be like a fusion. But like I said, nobody really kind of understood what they were after in there. So it really kind of was really kind of messy. The winner ends up being Danny, who made a scallop shoe farci with yuzu koshu foam. Don't ask me what any of that was. It was a scallop, but it ended up looking like it had a leaf over the top of it in there. Rasika is the one that ends up being eliminated. She had a crab and eggplant with mushroom conserva, dukkha, and garlic tahini. Basically, she told them that she was going to like sear off the eggplant. She didn't. She sous vide and ended up being mushy, and that's why she got to go home. But this is one of those episodes where nobody should have had to go home and just made it the double episode or double elimination next episode, just simply because I don't think that the brief was good enough here. It just was a poorly thought out. It was poorly thought out, and the execution clearly showed that because they had no idea what they were supposed to make. They were all kind of floundering throughout the whole episode. So I think that this was very poorly done on the Top Chef side of the house, on the production side of the house, and they should have done something better here and kept everybody, and then just double eliminated next week. I think that would be more fair. My text messages are going off this morning. So that's what we are looking at there. So Roscoe will get another chance. They're having kind of the part two. They'll have the part two of the Last Chance Kitchen. So she'll get another chance to kind of fight back. She was kind of looking to be my odds-on favorite here with this season. So she may still get that. Obviously, you can win the season by coming back through there. In her defense, this actually may end up being good for her. Just because if you're going to go out, this is the week to go out in, because you have essentially a 1 episode break, 1 week, couple of days. I'm not quite sure how the filming schedule actually works. Obviously, they're not keeping these chefs for 4 months away from their job. So what I think is happening, so I think they're doing kind of elimination. I think each episode, each week ends up being a couple of days, so 2-3 days. So I think what's happening is she's going to get like a 2-3 day break where she doesn't have to like run around and cook. Gives her a chance to kind of rest and reset. So if you're going to have to go through Last Chance Kitchen, this is the week to do it, because now you have kind of an extra episode break waiting for the next person to show up. So you get a little time to rest, recuperate, kind of rethink of what you've done and what you haven't done. And what changes you want to make kind of going forward, where everybody else, you got to kind of come in and hit the ground running. So it does give you that chance to kind of catch your breath there. So if this is the week, so if you're going to go out, this is the week to go out. Obviously, then you can come back and power back through. So that's what we're looking at. Next week, they're going to have some type of ballpark challenge. We see in the previews, we saw them. They're at Milwaukee County Stadium doing the sausage race, and then they'll have some type of some type of hot dog competition. So it's going to be a team competition, which everybody always hates in there. So that's what we're looking at for this week. Very poor episode in my mind this week, and that has anything to do with any of the contestants. I think this was a poor challenge from the get-go. So yeah, I give this a 2 out of 10. In terms of grading, if we were going to do something like that. So we'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better episode, a little bit better thought process. Obviously, a hot dog episode or a sausage episode in Wisconsin makes a lot of sense. So that should be a little bit more kind of straightforward. All right, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure that you drop back, see us next week, maybe even the end of this week, depending upon what time I've got in my wide open schedule. Make sure that you like and subscribe on all of the YouTube channels. Follow me on Facebook, on Threads, all that kind of fun stuff. Other than that, we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.